G'day painters, so it's been a while since I've been able to put a video on here, but I finally managed to squeeze in some hobby time and I'm keen to show you what I've been up to on the Wrath of Kings competition piece. So this is a unit of 5 miniatures. I'm getting pretty close to finishing the painting on the miniatures themselves. After that I still need to do the basing of the diorama piece, but I'm keen to show you what I've been working on lately, trying to use some slightly different materials and focusing a lot on the textures that are going into the miniatures themselves. So let's take a look. Hope you enjoy. Just starting off, I've basically just recorded some different sections highlighting the later stages of these miniatures. As you can see, they're mostly finished. The large sections are finished, such as like the armor and the skin and all that kind of stuff. But I'm just going in here, I'm working on the details. So in this video, mostly we'll be looking at parts of the face, the eyes, and also working on the shields, which is was a pretty sort of exciting part. So here, just going in, blocking in these details, wanting to flesh out, you know, the sort of large values of the inside of the mouth there before I come back and start highlighting the individual teeth. Just showing a variety of the different miniatures. So what I've really enjoyed about this project is that even though it's a unit entry, that there's quite a diversity in the miniatures. So like obviously this guy and the 4 pigs and the little dude that sits on top, they've all got different weaponry and everything, so I've been quite entertained. So here, just picking out the individual teeth. As you can see, that lighter brown going in there. So I wanted these guys to have like a really gross, like brown colored teeth. I imagine like what pigs would have. So some of these shots are a little bit out of focus, a little bit too bright. So what I'm finding when I'm filming is I like to have my setup to paint like very bright so that I can see all the details, but that can make it difficult to record it. So it's quite a messy workstation, just set up to be able to work on anything I want. It's not really set up to film, so that might be something I look at more. So here on the tongue, I'm trying to pick out just that little textural detail that you might expect on a tongue. Like a tongue isn't a smooth surface, it's quite rough. So by stippling with the brush point, I can make those little dots sort of give texture to the surface of the tongue. You can see it on this model as well. Like if you look closely, the tongue has got the little dots on there, kind of give it that raised appearance. Here, just starting to work on the hair. This is the only miniature that really has like a substantial amount of hair to it. Just black, but this part was interesting because I was painting black, the black hair on top of like another black surface underneath. It's like a black leather. So I wanted to try to differentiate like those two surfaces, both through tone and also through texture. So I've introduced more of like a yellow to it, but also in my highlighting, you see it's a lot more sort of scratchy and chaotic than like the leather underneath. The leather is quite smooth and consistent up to its high points, but here the highlights, as you can see there on the moustache, like I'm stippling there to give it that more sort of chaotic feel that you might expect from hair. And yeah, similar sort of approach here as well. The pigs have eyebrows. I wanted to make them look like they had kind of bushy eyebrows, so I have gone in and painted like that texture in there to make them look like they're wiry. Sorry, another sort of out of focus shot, but I think it shows well that application of the pupil there. And here, so just going in and adding the eyes, the details to the eyes. We'll begin working on the shields. So this was probably my favorite part of the miniatures actually, and it was actually the fastest as well. So here I'm just looking for some references. I wanted them to be a leather shield. I was trying to focus on my color coherency across the entire scheme. So I didn't want to introduce more color tones to it. So I wanted to keep it like a darker tone to complement the armor and the skin, but I still wanted it to have its own character and personality. So here I wanted the application of the paint to be like thick and scratchy, to kind of represent the worn leather. This entire process I worked quite loosely, so that I would get that kind of stretched, aged, weathered, kind of texturized appearance. So here coming in with like a thick synthetic, like a stiff brush, applying paint from different directions, quite dry, as you can see there, like dragging up in different directions. Here you can see it a little bit more closely, coming in and just dabbing the paint in sort of random areas and smudging it through a little bit. With the reference I was working from, had the leather was pulled obviously over the shield tightly, creating little ripples on the surface. So that's what I'm trying to reinforce here. That the plan will be to come back onto it with an ink to mellow out all of the different textures in it. So I'm just getting that initial texture, and we'll see the ink process which glazes it all together next. So this is Liquitex ink. I've been using these recently. It's really great. I picked up a few different colors, and just easily allows you to add a lot of interest to your miniatures, either by glazing different hues, like into a skin tone. You can glaze like a red or a blue through it, or by painting it into shadows. So I was always considering the direction of the sunlight on these minis, so I wanted more ink like sitting on that bottom surface of the shield, as you can see there, just soaking up with the excess. So every time I was painting it, the ink onto there, I was always pushing the ink down towards the shadow. You'll see some clearer shots of the shields at the end. They were quite hard to film clearly. I thought they would be in focus, but the light was reflecting off of it, so I kept focusing on other parts of the miniature. Again, if I make more of these videos, I'll try to improve the way that I'm filming these, so that you can more clearly see the brushwork itself. So here's like a better shot of how they actually worked out. You can see all the subtle little tears and nicks and stretches and everything in the texture of the leather there. So I'm quite happy with the way they worked out. This is just a little detail now of one of the shields. So here are the miniatures. They're, I'd say, 95% completed. I might just need to do a couple more touch-ups here and there. See some different angles of it. Yeah, this guy's really cool, just with like the goofy expression on his face and everything. It was nice to just have different skin tones to work in as well across each, and the sausages on the back are my favorite part of this whole project. Is just these goofy like pigs with these sausages like tucked into their belt. It's a little bit disturbing when you really think of it, but yeah, again, good shot of the shield there showing those details. And we'll go ahead and pop the little guy on top with the massive whip that he's got there. Yeah, it's definitely like a lot of character in these figures. I'd love to find someone to play this game with, because there's just so much personality in them. Here they all are all together. Next part will be going on and building this base properly. Thanks for watching. If you want to see the third and final part of this paint journal, then please subscribe to the channel. I'll be putting up the next video hopefully pretty soon. I want to bucket this project and move on to the next one. So yeah, thanks for watching, and hope to see you again soon.